Okay, is my screen visible? Am I visible? Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Okay, so today we are going to be dealing with something known as prospectus. Now, it'll be a very short session. I will not be taking much of your time since there's only 19. I think I'll be able to get through you a lot better than I would if it were a big group. Okay, so okay. So basically, prospectus is just to give you a brief. Prospectus is an invitation or like a letter to the public to come and invest in your company when your company is, short on shares and they're short on profits. You lend out your shares and you state that okay, these are the shares, this is the amount, and this is my company's portfolio. So it basically is like your company's portfolio. So people want to invest their money in sound and profitable company. Prospectus gives information about the profitability, soundness, and prosperity of the company. Now, the basic object and fundamental function of the prospectus is to attract the public, and they do so. So basically, prospectus is an invitation to offer, but it's not a direct offer. So once the prospectus is issued, and you apply for being a part of the company, it is only when the company accepts that particular contract is deemed to be fulfilled or is deemed to be. Am I audible, everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So prospectus basically is it is not a direct offer, as in once if you accept it, it doesn't become a binding contract. It is an invitation to offer whereby once you accept the offer, the company must accept your offer to become part of the company. It is only then that it is only in that as it is only when that particular thing happens that that prospectus or that contract is deemed to be fulfilled. Moving on, the meaning and definition of prospectus. Now, again, under Companies Act, there's a definition of prospectus. So, according to Section 2, Clause 70, prospectus means any document described or okay. Prospectus means any document described or issued as a prospectus, and it includes a red herring prospectus, which is referred to in Section 32, or shelf prospectus, referred to in Section 31, or any notice, circular, advertisement, or other document inviting offers from the public for the subscription. Guys, please mute yourself. This is really not how this is supposed to be done. Kuldeep, please mute yourself. Yes, Sojas, tell me. Or just you've raised your hand. Is there something you need to say? If you're saying something, I'm sorry I can't hear you. I am trying to explain to you what a prospectus is in the beginning. Red herring prospectus, as you can see on the slide, would be something I would be dealing with later. Kindly wait till I finish to ask your doubts. Please keep your doubts. Um, because I have studied this as well, so I know what are the doubts that will arise, and I tried my best to cover those as well. So please wait until a particular topic is at least over, so you know whether I will be talking about that particular concept or not. Okay. So, according to Section 2, Clause 70, so basically, the Companies Act basically defines prospectus under Section 2, Clause 70. where it states that prospectus means any document described or issued as a prospectus, which includes a red herring prospectus, as referred to in section 32. Now, a red herring prospectus basically means a prospectus which does not include complete particulars of the quantum or price of the securities included therein. Now, the red herring prospectus. Um, is something whereby it has all the other information, but it is very vague on the aspect when it comes to security, the aspect of securities or the aspect of shares. Their prices are very they will give you a rough idea as to what the price is, but there is no proper specification. Okay, this 100 rupees is the price of particular share. They will say it is within rupees 80 to rupees 200. So it might be anywhere. So that is basically a red herring prospectus. Or shelf prospectus, as referred to in section 31. A shelf prospectus is a prospectus in respect of which the securities or class of securities included therein are issued for subscription in one or more issues over a certain period without issue of a further prospectus. Now, okay, so shelf prospectus is basically you make one prospectus and you keep it with yourself, and every time you want the investment of the public, you issue the same prospectus, or you roll out the same prospectus. That is basically a shelf prospectus. Or any notice, circular, advertisement, or other document inviting offers from the public for the subscription or purchase of any securities or a body corporate. Now, a body corporate is basically it is a legal person. Um, any company is known as a body corporate, and any company has a legal and it has certain legal rights and duties that it needs to follow. That is why it is known as a legal person. It is also known as an artificial person because the company cannot one person can't be a company. Like, for example, if I have a company, let's say XYZ, I might be the promoter, I might be the person who started the company, but even after I pass away, or even if after I move on to another, or I stop working for this particular company, which I only have started, the company doesn't come to an end. The company only comes to an end only after um, after, like, all its rights and liabilities have all been fulfilled, and either by an order of the court, it is wound up, or it is because of the fact that it's not able to, um, take care of all of the prizes and all of the commitments and all of the pressure that it's getting in. It is removed, uh, or it is just basically the company stops functioning as a company, where they're not able to do what they started off for. They're not able to fulfill requirements. They're not able to fulfill anything. So they apply for winding up. Now, once the winding up is done, all your rights and liabilities are done, then the company ceases to be a legal person. It ceases to be a body corporate. So body corporate is basically a legal person who might not be a legal, or who might not be a tangible person. It is an intangible entity, which is mainly, more often than not, a company. Now, there are certain essential ingredients of a prospectus. Number one is that there must be an invitation to offer to the public. As I already mentioned, prospectus is an invitation to offer. It is not an offer directly, it is an invitation to offer. The company will not offer you to buy their shares. It will just say, okay, hey, I have certain shares. I'm letting you know. If you want, you let me know. What you tell me would be an offer, and the company, once it accepts, it would be acceptance, and that is where your contract comes into play. Now, the invitation must be made by or on behalf of the company or in relation to an intended company. Now, this invitation to offer is basically made by a particular company. Like, for example, like as I already mentioned, XYZ is the company which I formed. I need subscription or purchasing of the shares, debentures, etc., etc., or I need capital basically. So what I do is, on behalf of the company can't leave out a prospectus. On behalf of the company, it is either the directors or the already existing shareholders or the promoter or the owner of the particular company who says that, okay, this is my company, this is what we're doing, this is what we deal with, and these are certain things you should know about the company. These are certain things you don't need to know about the company. Which you don't need to know, I will not be mentioning. And they say, okay, this is the price of one share, this is the price of multiple shares. And it must be made on behalf of either, for example, I have just started the company, it's been 2 days, and I require capital. If I am the only person existing, then I am the owner, and it is made on behalf of my company. I am making the offer on behalf of my company. That is what that means. Or in relation to an intended company. Like, for example, my company is not yet registered. I am saying that, okay, I have this company, it is not yet registered. All the relevant information is given to you in the prospectus, but I really need capital. I need funding. I need angel investor, etc., etc. Third is the invitation must be to subscribe or purchase. Um, Basically, you either subscribe to the shares or purchase debentures. And the invitation must relate to shares and debentures. That's the basic essentials of essential ingredients of a prospectus. Now, the contents or subject matter specified in the prospectus is mentioned under section 26. So it basically includes about there are about 18 points which you need to be taking care of while you're drafting a prospectus. First is names and addresses of the registered office of the company secretary, chief financial officers, auditors, legal advisors, bankers, trustees, underwriters, and any other persons which are involved with the company. You don't have to mention the employees of the company, but the main people. Like you have, let's say, the director of the company, you have the secretary of the company, you have the financial officer of the company, you have the CEO of the company, you have the auditors, the legal advisors, the bankers, any trustees, any management, any underwriters, or anything, any other person. The second is the date of the opening and closing of the issue, the declaration about the issue of allotment of letters and refunds within prescribed time. So this is basically when you're basically opening the prospectus, and when you're opening the prospectus for the public to for them to offer you um, money or to offer you some consideration to be part of your company via shares or debentures. Thirdly, a statement by the board of directors about the separate bank account. All monies received out of the issue are to be transferred, and disclosure of details of all monies, including utilized and unutilized money out of the previous issues in the prescribed manner. Now, the board of directors will specify that this is one particular bank account. This was the amount of money which we received in the in the previous time where we issued the prospectus, and these are the dates, these are the people. Um, uh, I'm not sure if you're supposed to disclose the people, but you need to disclose how much money came in and what you did with the particular money or monies and how you utilize that particular investment. And if there is any unutilized amount left, where is it? And how do you plan on using that particular unutilized amount? Fourthly, consent of the directors, auditors, bankers to the issue, and expert opinion, if any, uh, as may be prescribed. Now, if there must be consent of the directors, that needs to be mentioned. If there needs to be consent of the auditors, again, that needs to be mentioned too. If there are bankers involved in your particular company, that also needs to be mentioned. And any expert opinion, which mainly says that, okay, this company will be functioning for another 4 or 5 years, you can. So basically, expert opinion may include either the PA's opinion or a government entity or a servant's opinion. Fifthly, the authority for the issue and the details of the resolution passed therefore. Sixth, procedure and time schedule for allotment and issue of securities. Um, I think, sorry, I have made some error here. Seventh is the capital structure of the company, which must be in the prescribed manner. Now, the main object of public offer, the terms of the present issue, and such other particulars as may be prescribed. The main object and present business of the company and its location, schedule of implementation of the project. 10th. 11th, particulars relating to management, gestation period, extent of uh, progress made in the um, yeah, extent of progress made in the project, the deadlines. Siddhi, because I allowed you does not mean you disturb the whole class. Okay. Extent of progress made in the project and the deadlines for the completion of a particular project. Um, and any litigation or legal action pending or taken up by the government department. All of these need to be mentioned against either the company or the promoter or whatever, any person of the company. Then we have minimum subscription amount payable by way of premium issue of shares, otherwise than on cash. That also needs to be mentioned. The details of 1 minute. Okay, the details of directors, including how they were appointed, the remuneration, and other particulars of such nature and extent of their interest as the company may be prescribing. The disclosures of any manner which may be prescribed about sources of promoters' contribution. If the promoter has put in some money, where did he get that money from? That also needs to be mentioned. Reports by the auditors of the company with respect to its profits and losses and assets and liabilities and such other manners as may be prescribed. The auditors of the company need to basically specify a particular report and that needs to be attached. And that also needs to be mentioned in brief when you're drafting the prospectus. And the reports relating to profits and losses of each of the 5 financial years immediately preceding the financial year of the issue of prospectus, including such reports of its subsidiaries in such manners as may be prescribed. So when you're issuing a prospectus, if it's the first time you're issuing the prospectus, um, okay, if it's the first time you're issuing the prospectus, you don't need to be mentioning the five financial year, what happened, etc. But if it's your even if it's your second year, you need to mention what happened in the previous year and how did where did you get the initial funding from, and where have you gotten your subsequent funding from. That needs to be mentioned too. Then moving on, reports about the business or transaction to which the proceeds of the securities are to be applied directly or indirectly. And they must make a declaration about the compliance of the provisions of the Act and a statement to the effect that nothing in the prospectus is contrary to the Act, to the provisions of the Companies Act, the Securities Act, and the SEBI Act, and the rules and regulations which are made therein under the particular Act. So that is basically it. Those are the contents that you need to be taken care of while you're drafting your prospectus. Now there are rules and regulations which are relating to the prospectus. Number one, the prospectus must be issued to the public. These two case laws specify that the prospectus must be issued to the public. If you want, you can find them online. If not, these are just some things I found interesting. And yeah, secondly, every prospectus must be dated. Now, if it is not dated, then the registrar will refuse to register the particular prospectus. Now, this is one thing you need to be taken care of, that your prospectus, like your memorandum of association and your articles of association, is also registered. And no prospectus must be issued without its publication. The registration must be completed before the publication of the prospectus, and the prospectus must be published. It must be published on the company's website. It must be published, or the fact that there is a prospectus out needs to be mentioned in the particular in the particular in any particular newspaper as well. So basically, you need to publish your particular prospectus. And every prospectus must be registered, which is mentioned under Section 27 of the Companies Act. So there are certain documents which you need to be filing with the registrar of companies while you're registering your prospect. Firstly, there's a copy of reports of expert opinion. Secondly, a copy of every contract relating to appointment and remuneration of managers and board of directors. Thirdly, a copy of every single contract that you're entering into. Fourth, a copy of written statements relating to adjustment made by the auditors or accountants relating to profits and losses, assets and liabilities. And fifth, the consent in writing of the persons named in the prospectus as auditor, legal advisor, bankers, as well as brokers of the company. So this is basically the registration process. Once you give all of these copies and all of these documents to the registrar with your prospectus, with a copy of the prospectus, the registrar basically registers your company. He notes it down and he sends you a communication that your prospectus is registered and you can issue it to the public. And the consent of expert, as I already mentioned, must be obtained, and every application must be accompanied with prospect. Now, whether newspaper advertisement is a prospectus, that specific particular thing is mentioned under Section 30. If you want an elaborate reading of the same, kindly refer to the Companies Act. Section 30 basically states that a
Could you please show
newspaper,
the previous slide?
I will be sending
Thank you,
you
ma'am.
the I will be sending you the PPT if you're noting it down. Don't worry if you miss out on something. I will be sending you the PPTs by tomorrow evening.
Okay, ma'am.
Now, Section 30 states that newspaper advertisement is can also act as publication of the issue of prospectus. Now, that is usually not preferred by most companies, but when companies are at their nascent stage or are at a time where they don't have that much funding. They tend to go to the newspaper printing agencies and they tend to have their prospectus printed on the paper. The entire prospectus cannot be printed, so they concise the prospectus into maximum of let's say half a page and they get it printed out. Now, misstatement of prospectus and their consequences. Uh, the liabilities of misstatement of prospectus, there are two: civil liability and criminal liability. Now, this is all you basically require for your understanding as of now. And since I don't want to have another meeting explaining to you the task, I will be sending you the slides. All the information is mentioned in the slides as well only. I will just be sharing my screen with. Okay, one second. Okay, I am just going to share the screen where your task is mm, mentioned. Okay, okay. I hope my Word document is also visible to everybody. I hope I'm visible. I hope I am audible too. Okay, so basically, your problem statement under which you will be drafting your particular prospectus, all the formats and all the documents will be shared to you by tomorrow afternoon, evening max. And also just a small um, question. I will also be posing it on the group. Um, should because next week I am a little busy on the 24th. I might not be able to take the session to next Sunday. So I suppose all of you have a holiday on Christmas, which is on Monday. So I just wanted to know if it's okay if we take the next meeting on Monday. I will put it on the group. Please don't answer right now. This is just something I would have forgotten otherwise. Okay. So you are the legal advisor representing XYZ company. The company's name you can change or you can let it be as is. A company planning to make a public issue of its equity shares to raise capital for expansion. Company seeking assistance to um, prepare a prospectus that complies with the regulatory requirements under Companies Act, the SEBI Act. Um, okay, so sorry, this is my bad. Okay, so the problem, the background of the company is this. Okay, again, everything that's mentioned in the bracket is up to you. You can do whatever you want with it. Or if you want, I'm not going to do it. You do it only. Okay, so instruction is you need to provide company information, the object for the reason, objects or the reasons you're issuing that particular prospectus. Thirdly, your capital structure, your financial information, your management and project information, the terms and conditions of the issue, the legal and regulatory compliance. Now, while you're drafting this particular prospectus, you need to keep in mind that you need to take care of the Companies Act, and that you're not going against the Companies Act, and that you're following all the rules and regulations laid down under the Companies Act, as well as SEBI guidelines. You also need to pay attention to clarity, accuracy, and completeness of information, and you must provide appropriate disclaimers and risk factors as and when necessary. So that is your task for this week. Your submission date would again be next Saturday or next Sunday, 11:30. Although I will not be taking a meeting next Sunday. Just wait.